Think you know the Brooks Ghost? Think again. Introducing the all-new, better-than-ever Ghost 16. Now with nitrogen-infused cushioning for lightweight, supreme softness that feels good every step, every street, every single day. So go ahead, take your daily joyride in the all-new nitrogen-infused Ghost 16. It'll turn your everyday miles into everyday endorphins. Let's run there. Head to brooksrunning.com to learn more.
The thing that I fought tooth and nail to bring my son into is Dungeons and Dragons. That is the ultimate solution to parenthood.
I'm Alexis Ohanian. In my podcast, Business Dad, I'm hoping to open up the conversation about balancing careers and family. I talked to Rainn Wilson. I wanted to learn more about Rainn's advice to play D&D with your kids. Business Dad is available now, so be sure to listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
And now, stop me if you've heard this before on the Toddcast podcast.
You'll know Bruce Buffer as the veteran voice of the Octagon in the UFC. It's time! And how crazy is it that Bruce's half-brother is boxing and pro wrestling ring announcer Michael Buffer? Bruce's first UFC was number 8 back in 1996. Bruce also holds himself a black belt in Tang Soo Do. He's a kickboxer as well. And great to have him on the podcast, of course, talking about an interesting position within that company, the voice in the Octagon, every fight, revving up the fighters. If you've seen his introductions, fighting, some of the fighters get right into it. It's very cool. And of course, we talked a lot about fighting and MMA, the early years and the build of that organization. But we got into the shows that Bruce was binge watching at the time, talked about Daredevil, Shark Tank, comic books and sports cards. He shared a near-death story. And stop me if you've heard this before, Bruce shared his road to getting to the UFC.
Well, that's a long story in itself. It's one of the reasons I wrote my book, It's Time, that Random House honored me by publishing, because I wanted to put everything in writing and remember the things that I forgot over the years, because I probably forgot more than I can remember. But, in the early days, watching Michael do his thing, I always had an ambition to be a ring announcer and do the work because I enjoyed public speaking. But I owned 2 companies, and I was very successful in my companies I was in, but I wasn't passionate about what I was doing. And it was around 1992 that I had an epiphany that this is what I wanted to pursue, and the only way to do it was to go into it full-time. So I did that by selling both companies, quitting with the money I had in the bank, taking over Michael's career, managing his career, and becoming partners in everything we did with the trademark, which I the phrase, which I trademarked properly to make sure that it was protected. And then set forth on that adventure, and we agreed I wouldn't do boxing, and I said, that's okay, something will come along. And lo and behold, the UFC came along, and it took me about a year and a half to work my way into that position. You always got to, ask for the job, go for it, and, set out to achieve your goals, which is exactly what I did.
Stop me if you've heard this before on the Toddcast podcast is powered by FKP MMA, Vancouver's #1 training destination at fkpmma.com.
Talmor, Sheshin Marachi. Talmor is my home. My family have worked the land for generations. My gran says the island does not belong to us, but we belong to the island. And we must be ready, for a great evil is coming, and death follows with it.
Listen and subscribe to the latest season of Undertow, The Harrowing, a Storyglass production presented by Realm, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Alexis Ohanian. You may know me as one of the co-founders of Reddit, but more recently, a large part of my identity is being a father to my 2 wonderful daughters. In my podcast, Business Dad, I'm hoping to open up the conversation about balancing careers and family. The one thing I constantly hear successful people say, without fail, is that they wish they'd spent more time with their kids. That's time no one can get back. So I decided to create Business Dad, to engage in the conversation about how we're spending our time now, providing a forum for successful dads to share their joys and challenges of being a working parent. You'll get to hear from a wide range of business dads, from Rainn Wilson and Guy Raz to Todd Carmichael and Shane Battier. And while this podcast will talk about business and will definitely be featuring dads, I think everyone can learn something from these incredible conversations as we unpack the expectations we all have about careers, relationships, and ourselves. Business Dad is available now, so be sure to listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.